Does he get traded this season?
Yes. I think it's going to be
And what odds would you put that at? The yes is what?
Yes is like minus 150, I would say.
Okay.
There's reasons for this. I think the Niners need his money they need some money to sign their draft class, but they also need that money in case they want to make a move during the middle of the season. Let's say they get into like week 5 or 6 and they want to make an Emmanuel Sanders trade like they did the year they made the Super Bowl. Like they don't have any of that flexibility. When I look at the league, like there's a few reasons why they probably should wait at least until like August. And even since we've started hanging out, it's like 2016 Teddy Bridgewater tears his knee up. Vikings trade for Sam Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Bradford's not going for a first round pick unless a team's desperate. Ryan Tannehill tears his ACL again in 2017. They bring remember Jay Cutler was supposed to be a color guy for Fox, and then he goes and he was terrible for the Dolphins.
All-time pivot.
They go and put him in. That's where Jimmy G has value.
Okay.
That's where Baker Mayfield has value.
But why would a team trade for Jimmy G now when it makes – I mean, the Niners –
They shouldn't trade for him now. They should wait till August.
Right, but
or early September.
But why wouldn't, if the Niners need the money, then why wouldn't they just wait and see if the Niners cut them?
Well, because I honest to God think that the draft capital doesn't even matter at this point. We saw what happened with Baker Mayfield in the draft, where the Panthers wanted him, but they couldn't. And again, this is a really stupid move on the Cleveland Browns' parts, by the way, because again, like after you've done what you've done with Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield's salary is a fucking rounding error, right? So like they haggled with Carolina over how much guaranteed money they should have to take on, and ultimately like Carolina bailed and took Matt Corral, right? To me, it's not even about draft pick compensation. Like the Niners are not holding out over the difference between like a third and a fourth round pick. It's the team taking him on wants to take on that money.
Right.
I think like a team like Seattle, a team like Carolina, a team like Pittsburgh.
But if you cut him, you only have 1.4 in dead cap, or in dead money.
Right, that's true.
If you
so for him specifically, for Mayfield, it's worse, right? But for him specifically, let me look.
That's why. I mean, this is on Over the Cap, right? So if they cut him,
right, they get $25 million in savings.
Savings. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that 20. So
are you finding a team? I guess my question is, are you finding a team? And by the way, his cap number this year is 26.95.
Yeah, he has twice the cap hit of any other player on the team. I guess the problem is right now that cap space doesn't benefit you either. Other than to sign like that level of, you need like $5 million in cap space. Right. You don't need $25 million in cap space. You also need like the I guess the pressure on Trey Lance, if that matters to you. Where you could use that cap space is like, let's say you get to the middle of August and you realize that you're a solid team and you get like one big thing for the Niners is they're almost never healthy, right? You get to August and you're healthy, right? No one's messed around, no one's gotten injured or anything, and you need money to maybe trade for Von Miller type, right? Like what the Rams had. You need the money to trade for like Brian Burns or something like, and I'm throwing names out there that it might not need. Then that level of money matters. Also rolling over the cap, and this is where like the limits on my expertise are just stripped here, but like you might want to roll over that money. But like right now, I think it's like the draft pick compensation that they could get right now is not high enough for them to sort of like bail, and the cap savings that they get are not necessarily like they might not think it's worth it. They could get a first round pick if a team has a quarterback get injured in August, though.
Right.
And that I think is what they're holding out for. The problem that I have here is that they have the same. I mean, the Browns have the same incentive to hold on to Baker Mayfield that long. Like you're still competing with another team for that. And if the Browns want to take less, then both guys are in a situation where you almost have to, like Jimmy G, they should never have to give up draft capital to let him go because they could just cut him. But for like Mayfield, they probably should have to attach a draft pick to him at this point because his 5th-year option, it's guaranteed.
Right, it's guaranteed. I mean, that's the thing. And if you look at, I mean, the Niners right now do not have enough cap space to actually sign
Their draft picks.
Yep. As cheap as their draft picks are. So
yeah, which is crazy because, yeah, as you said, they don't have a first-round pick, and their second-round pick was late in the draft.
they're the only team in the NFL with less than $1 million in cap space. They have $673,000 in cap space. So that's a challenge. And if you're a team that's looking to trade for him,
right,
you can hold them to that. They can't not sign Drake Jackson. They have to.
There's really no team with the incentive to take on Jimmy G right now. And if they cut him, and I think that the ultimate thing is, like, if they cut Jimmy G, like, who's going to pick him up right away? Like, he's basically a backup quarterback if he's on the open market right now, right? Whereas if you know, let's say the worst happens and, like, a guy like Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, like, Jimmy G's probably a better alternative than Jordan Love. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, I don't know if Nagler's on here right now, but you didn't want to get that. You didn't want to get started there.
Although they don't have the cap space to take him on. Like, that's the thing. Like, and not a lot of teams even have the cap space to take him on either. Like, it would have to be some sort of, like, arrangement.
Yeah. Okay, this is not me. This is kind of me emotionally hedging. I'm going to answer the question I asked at the beginning of this. Will Jimmy G get traded? I can't imagine that he doesn't. But the fact that I can't imagine that he doesn't makes me a little nervous. And the fact that
he's also injured. That's a big part of this whole thing.
That's what I was about to get to, is the fact that he's injured right now, but that when healthy, Shanahan has to believe that they can go to the Super Bowl, because they almost went to the Super Bowl when he didn't have his right arm.
Yeah.
And the simple fact that Trey Lance coming out and looking bad. So here's how I'm thinking about it in my mind. If they get rid of Jimmy G, Trey Lance has to go out there. Okay? If he looks really bad, it's going to be even worse than if they have Jimmy G and they go, yeah, we got to play Jimmy because, you know, it makes us competitive. At least you get a little more time to get, like, seasoning, I guess, on Trey Lance. I'm just trying to think about it in a way that, like, doesn't make a ton of sense, but is why I think it could happen. So I'm going to say I don't think he gets traded. And weirdly, I think he plays for the Niners this year in some capacity. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, but you're right. I mean, like, the hard part. So let's bring up one more Shanahan question, because I've had a very, like, as far as, like, my worldview is concerned, like, I think Shanahan's a great play caller. I don't necessarily know if he's a great head coach, that kind of thing. But, like, when you run such a unique scheme, do you run into a problem where guys like Debo and guys like Jimmy G are not more, are their value is almost,
they're not valuable enough to other teams.
Like, Jimmy G
is interesting.
Jimmy G, if he went to a team that was less nurturing to the quarterback, would probably suck.
Okay,
like,
he's
a great asset to the Niners.
Let me correct your statement for a second. Kyle Shanahan is a great head coach. He's by all accounts, a fantastic leader of men. He has an incredible scheme. He practically plays quarterback for his quarterback, okay? He's an amazing head coach. Where I think you said great play caller, I agree. I do think the one place where he is not elite is in some of the, play calling stuff, some of the, run heavy stuff. However, he's got Jimmy G. It's not like he's got Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers out there. So I don't want to pretend that he would be that way with one of those guys and the fourth down stuff. But by and large, everyone, I think, knows that I'm a huge Kyle Shanahan fan. Father of Sean McVay, proud father of Sean McVay. I think it's a really good point. But I will say this. It's not as if Jimmy G was going to look like Joe Montana with a normal head coach. Mm-hmm. So the only reason we're talking about Jimmy G being traded is because he's got Kyle Shanahan to begin with. Are they not going to say, okay, people don't want to trade for him because he's injured. We have confidence that he'll look good in this offense if he's healthy. We're going to trot him out. What I thought they were going to do last year, which is we're going to trot him out there. We're going to play well, and then we're going to trade him to some team that loses their quarterback. Like, they're just going to try that again.